Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rachelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right Podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed, joined by lovely, talented, beautiful wife, Miss Southern Chell, in the brand new podcast studio. It's a work in progress, but we are up and recording. How about that?
Yeah, we're up and recording. It'll look a little different as we go along.
Yeah, we've got plans, but we wanted to get up. We missed last week, and we hate that, but we were in the process of moving, and I didn't do all the cordage right, and it's still a mess back here. But
it was so bad last week, even Malcolm got stressed out.
Yeah, I was stressed out. But hey, it's all good now. We got Jamie and Mark hooked us up with this nice wood wall behind us.
Yeah.
You get to decorate it. Yeah. We're going to turn this table a little bit and add some more chairs so we can add more guests.
Yep.
Maybe have some different camera angles. We don't know what all we're going to get to do, but we're getting it figured out. We're bringing in a consultant, possibly a producer.
We need a producer.
Yeah. So it's going to get better. Just bear with us.
Yeah. The fantasy football draft was this past weekend.
That was the highlight of my week. I got to do a bunch of cooking, got to hang out with my buddies. I drafted an A-plus team. It said A-minus in my ranking, but I called it.
You're not just saying it was A-plus team. It was officially.
An A-minus. That's probably, that's about as good as you can draft. I don't know if I've ever had that ranking. Usually I'm a C.
Yeah.
But I felt pretty good about this one. So
the problem is it's not real until week.
Hey, we didn't even see preseason. We don't know. Players are dropping. They're sitting out. They're getting traded.
So what's the rule? Let's say you drafted a guy.
Yeah.
Who's one of your star receivers?
Let's just say you put me on the spot. I don't remember who I drafted now. Let's just say George Kittle for the 49ers.
Okay,
he was one of my keepers. Yeah.
All right.
So he was my tight end. I got a steal on him, keeping him in the 7th round.
So let's say Kittle tests positive.
He's got to sit out 2 weeks.
How does that affect your team? What's y'all's rule?
I have to.
You just
we've got
roll
extra.
With it?
No, we've got 2 extra IR spots.
Okay.
That we can move them to. Pick up somebody out of free agency, and then they don't. The guy stays on your roster until he comes back, and then you cycle them out.
So that's how y'all adapted. You just added a few extra hours.
We if they don't get 9 games in, 9 official games, we agreed to put the money towards next year. It's like the season never happened, I guess.
Yeah.
If it goes further than 9, we're going to declare a champion. If we don't get to have a playoff.
Yeah.
So whoever
points or who's leading.
Yeah, who's ever leading according to the points rankings number 1 on. We run ours through Yahoo. So who's ever in first then if we don't get to have our playoff. But normally, there's a playoff, so. And it gets decided there. But we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah,
it's going to be I'm just glad they're talking about playing football.
Is there a game this weekend?
There's some college this weekend.
Who's
I think
playing?
pros starting next week.
Who's the colleges this weekend?
The big one I want to watch is Memphis and Arkansas State. I think it's going to be on ESPN Saturday night, 7 o'clock. SEC officially starts next week, I think it is. They may have a couple more weeks.
I don't know. I'm so far.
Yeah, it's been moved. Now they're talking about bringing the Big Ten back in October, possibly. So they're not going to cancel their season. Who knows? It looks like we're going to get to see some form of football. It's going to be interesting.
So,
I'm just excited.
Yeah. We had the draft, and we actually turned it into our video for this week.
We did, and that's what we were going to talk about today.
That's what I have some notes on.
Planning for that draft party because fantasy football draft to me is one of the biggest days of the year. I look forward to it. It's you're coming out of summer. It's been hot, but when football comes around, it's starting to turn fall. You start thinking about that. Hunting season's around the corner. We get some. Baseball's okay, but it's not my favorite sport.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd much rather watch football. And I'm not. I like the NFL. But I really like college football. That's the one I spend most of I make sure I watch college games, and then that's why I'm not that great at fantasy football because I don't really care that much. I mean, I like the Vikings. I follow the Vikings, and I catch some of their games. I don't catch all of them. I mean, it's just.
You watch a lot of football.
I do watch. I mean, I watch a lot of football, but it's
I thought I really liked football until we started living.
I watch
together.
it out of the gate. The first half of the season. Yeah, but once hunting season gets here, hey, I just want to go hunting. I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm not going. Sundays instead of watching football, I'm gonna go hunting. Saturdays, I miss some college football because I'm going hunting. So
Yeah.
I catch the night games, but usually I don't finish them because I got to get some sleep because I'm going hunting.
So how did you start doing, or when did you start doing fantasy football, and how? Like,
I started in college.
Did
This
you?
was a long time ago, and I was playing with a group of guys. I was in college, but we were working at Horseshoe Casino, and we started they had a league going.
it was brand new, wasn't it?
It was fairly, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was new to me. Fantasy football's been around, I guess, since the '80s in some form. But it was new, and where we had like it hosted online.
Yeah.
So we had an offline draft. The commissioner was Mark Flagg, and I don't know if you know. Do you remember Mark? Well, I remember one of the first times you met me. I was like, I got to go to my football draft, and it was at Howard Love's Sports Bar in Hernando. Back when it was over at the old hotel.
You talked me into going down there with you.
Yeah, but you didn't stay at the draft.
No, I sat at the bar and
We sat at the bar and we drafted. We had to bring out back. But we did, that was my first learning how to play fantasy football. Waylon played in that league. I think there was 12 of us, and that's how I started. Then I got to play with some other friends. Yahoo, they used to have, when it first started on Yahoo, it wasn't as good as ESPN. It was just like I think it started out, you have to pick, auto draft for you. There was no, good interface. And then you just played by whoever had the most points. It wasn't like head-to-head matchups and playoffs and all that. But ESPN had all that. So that's why we played ESPN. But then I just transitioned over to playing on Yahoo as they got better. And when I got in this league, this was a group of your college buddies that I met after we got together and married
I was
and all that.
technically in this league.
You were in the league. Well, yeah, I helped you
From the
one year.
original-
I think we made the playoffs when I helped you that year, didn't you?
Probably.
I don't know if you knew. I was told
not as good
that
at it.
you would play fantasy football as long as they guaranteed you were going to get Brett Favre on your team. That's the only way you would play with them.
Back
And they must have just needed somebody else to play or something. It was like, we need one more person. Let's let Rachelle play.
I'm a lot of fun. Come on. Especially back then. Back then, Brett Favre was an excellent choice.
Yeah, he was all right. When he was with the Vikings, he was really good. Had a year left in him in the tank. I don't know how he was with the Packers. He was okay.
He was at the Packers
He was
when we were-
okay.
when
I think
we
he had
were-
a pill problem back then.
Oh, yeah,
so.
that's when he was really
He
good.
was really good. I didn't like him back then.
I bet.
When he played for the Vikings, he was all right.
Yeah.
He was still kind of a traitor, but he's a Mississippi guy, so I got to pull for Brett Favre. How could you not like Brett Favre, right?
So you've been in this league for about 10 years.
Over 10 years, probably.
Yeah.
I'll be 11. I know I've been in there before he was born.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, so it's probably been more like 12 years.
Dang. I
It's
didn't
been a
know
while.
that.
It's
Yeah.
a really, those guys have been playing. They were playing back
We
when
played
it first started with Yahoo Pick'em type leagues.
Yes. And it was probably 2000.
Yeah, so that league's been together for a while. I mean, there's people in and out, but the core of it,
Yeah.
and it's very challenging. Those guys take it serious.
Yeah, they do.
Way more serious than I do. I mean, I try to keep up with it, but I'm just not gonna
You're not
follow
studying
it and be on the
stats
waiver
and-
wire,
yeah.
and picking up all these guys. I mean, I like the draft. I like cooking for folks, and I think that's why they let me in. Like
Yeah.
he'll do the cooking, and he'll at least they're gonna. Because we end up having a party or a cookout. I guess I don't know what you call it, but for the lottery, that's where we figure out who we draft.
Heck yeah, you cook
And then
steaks usually.
Yeah, and then we have one for the draft, and then we talk about having a mid-season recap, and so it ends up being a bunch of good get-togethers.
So have the draft parties changed?
They have, I challenge myself to get them better every year.
Yeah.
I told them next year I'm trying to get up a push to everybody go to Vegas and draft.
How are you going to cook out in Vegas?
We'll get that catered.
You're going all out.
Yeah, we're going all out. I won't be doing the cooking that one. That'll be just what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Y'all
But I don't know if we're gonna pull it off or not. I think we can. If not, we'll do the draft back here. At the headquarters.
Just try to top it.
Yeah,
Because really, you do. You try to top it every year.
every year. So this year was no exception.
What was on the menu this year?
So that's how I start my draft. I figure out what I'm gonna serve, and a lot of times I try to mix it up. I don't try to do the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
I know one year we did like as many different hot wings as I could cook.
Yeah.
And then one year we did like a bunch of Mexican food, and
Yeah.
I've done like all beef.
We did a taco bar, but like a
Yeah.
high-end taco bar. It was like brisket and.
The name of our league is Ribs and Whiskey. So I usually set out several bottles of good whiskey, and then I usually do some type of ribs. And this year I just went with my style St. Louis cut spare ribs. Yeah. I wanted to do some beef, so I did tri-tip.
And there were several of, because of the area we live in, there were several people that have never had
tri-tip.
Oh,
yeah. Most people had. And that's not something you see in our grocery stores. But I did tri-tip with the creamy horseradish sauce, and I made a fresh chimichurri with cilantro and parsley. Was really good. The chimichurri is what I like. I mean, I love the horseradish sauce, but the chimichurri is really good with it. Then I did my take. Well, I like doing sliders for parties because nobody's going to eat a big sandwich when you got all this other food. So small sandwiches are the way to go. And I wanted to do something with my jerk seasoning, and so I used pork tenderloin instead of making little beef sliders because I did the Jerk Mon burger.
It's pretty much you took your big. It's not your Jerk Mon. You called it your Big Mon.
Big Mon jerk burger. Yeah, I took the Big Mon jerk burger and substituted pork tenderloin that I reverse seared, and cut it up thin and piled it up on the little sliders. And I tell you what, it may have been better than the jerk burger. What do you think? Which one do you think was better? Would you rather have it's different. It's the same thing, but it's
at
really.
At a party like that, it's hard to beat those little sliders.
Yeah.
But if we're having a meal, that burger was one of the best burgers I've ever had.
It was really good.
Yeah.
So the deal with that is you've got the Calypso sauce, which is all it is mayo, ketchup, and the Scotch bonnet pepper sauce or hot sauce that I found at Kroger. It's like in the international side, I guess they have some Jamaican food, and that was over there. And
it's on Amazon for like $4 or $5.
Yeah, it's not expensive, but man, it's good. It's good like little hot sauce. It's sweet,
hot.
But the Scotch bonnets will fire you up. You can't put a ton of it.
Well, see, we doubled this recipe.
Yeah, it was hot. It was spicy.
Yeah, and you said, "Ooh, I don't know if we should have doubled the."
You know what that'd be good with? Fried conch.
Yes.
It would be really good. Dipping sauce. But I call it Calypso sauce just because I didn't know what else to call it. I thought that was a Jamaican-ish name. Calypso music, Calypso sauce. I went with it. That goes on the bottom bun. And then I did the pork, which I used the pork tenderloins. You could use pork loin, or you could do it with a pork butt, jerk seasonings and marinade or something and shred it.
Oh, you could.
With the pork loin.
You could make mini burgers too.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
You could. But it really worked great with the little tenderloins because they're small and fit on a slider.
I like making sliders with the pork tenderloins. Yeah. We've made several different styles.
All I did to it was season it with the jerk seasoning, and then I put it on the Outlaw stick burner. It was running about 275 like a stick burner does, and put a probe in them and watched them. When they got up to about 130, 135, I took them off. And I was also doing the tri-tip the same way, reverse searing them.
Yeah, so let's talk about them separately.
Yeah, okay. So when the tenderloins were about 130, 135, I pulled them all off, put them in a pan. I had got my Weber fired up with my grill grates on it. In the pan, I made a jerk sauce and then brushed it all over the tenderloins, and then just put them on a hot grill grate and seared them. It didn't take about 2.5 minutes each side, but they're round, so you kind of roll them around a little bit. But and I just kept probing them every time I'd turn it. When I saw 145, I got them off and wrapped them up in aluminum foil and stuck them in the cooler because we had to drive to the draft.
Yeah.
And so by the time we got to the draft, they had already rested. There was plenty of juice in there, so I just kind of opened the foil up, kept the juice in there, sliced those pork tenderloins thin, and put all the slices back in that juice and just wrapped it back up till we were ready to build the sandwiches. Mm-hmm. And then it was easy. You just took we bought.
I had the Calypso sauce.
Were those ballpark slider buns, or it was a brand I hadn't seen?
They were Hawaiian. I mean, they weren't the Hawaiian bread brand, but I forgot what they might have been Wonder Bread.
Was it Wonder Bread?
But they were Hawaiian style slider rolls.
Okay, they were good. They were already split. So all you had to do was take the tops off.
They were an actual. A lot of times we'll use rolls. Sometimes
and have to cut them.
But this time it was a slider bun.
It made it super easy.
Yes, and I wouldn't use those Hawaiian rolls on a lot of sliders because they have a distinct flavor. But on that one, it worked really.
And they
really
hold
well.
up really good.
Yeah,
the sweetness goes with it.
Yeah.
So Calypso sauce in a squeeze bottle. Just get a good squirt on the bottom side of the bun. Pile 2 or 3 slices of the pork tenderloin up on each one. Hit it with another little drizzle of jerk sauce. And then comes the pineapple relish. And the pineapple relish is what makes this dish to me. I mean, you got the creamy and the spiciness and the jerk flavor with the meat and all that going. But when you put this fresh pineapple on it, and all it is, I took a red bell pepper, a yellow bell pepper, a red onion, chopped all those up super fine, put some cilantro in there, and a jalapeno that I finely diced. I left the seeds and all ends. I wanted it spicy. And then I took a pineapple, and I bought them. You can buy one, a whole pineapple, and peel it yourself. But you know how the grocery stores have them in the little tubs. I bought one of those, poked the little core out. It's already peeled and ready, and just cut it into spears. Tossed it in some dark brown sugar and stuck it on the Outlaw 2 on a little raised rack. And, man, it just caramelized it in a matter of, 15, 20 minutes tops. Chopped all that pineapple up, mixed it with the peppers and the onions and the cilantro, and seasoned it with a little salt and pepper, and it was ready to roll.
And you made double.
So it's really like, I don't know if you call it, I called it a relish when I did the Big Mon burger or using it on the slider, but it's really kind of like a salsa. So we double dutied it, and whatever was left over, we just put in a bowl and served out with tortilla chips as a pineapple salsa.
Because it's really good like that.
What would you say? It's a relish or a salsa or both, whatever you want to call it?
It depends on the application, I think.
If you're serving it with fish tacos or whatever, it's a salsa. But if you're serving it
with chips, it's a salsa.
Yeah, but if you're serving it on a sandwich, it's a relish.
Yeah.
But that went on top, and that was all it was to those. You toothpick them and set them on a tray.
And I left my dadgum football toothpicks.
Yeah. They didn't come in, did they?
Mm-mm.
So that was one.
So that was one. What else was on the menu? And then we'll go break it each down. Because we talked about the
I did some tangy, I call them tangy Carolina meatballs. Man, they're incredibly difficult too. Tangy Carolina meatballs. I did a big meat board, charcuterie board.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Do you have a plan when you build a charcuterie board, or is it just like I'm sitting down with meats and cheeses and just
however I feel that day?
Yeah.
It don't matter. What I've learned when you're building a big meat board or a charcuterie board, if you want to get fancy with it, is the fuller you have that board, the better it looks.
Yes.
So if you don't have a lot of stuff, use a smaller board. But if you got a big board, just make sure you get a bunch of stuff on it.
Yeah. And it could be olives. It could be.
Yeah. So that's what I bought. I bought
greenery, grapes. Yeah.
Boar's Head makes these little stick sausages they sell at Kroger. It's like sopressata, pepperoni, 2 different kinds of salami. One's like a pepper crusted, salami. The other one's just like a dry, old world salami. And then I bought some of the ones that already rolled up with mozzarella cheese. It's like a piece of deli meat. There's prosciutto, there's pepperoni, and there's salami rolled around mozzarella.
What was the one that I thought was so good?
I think it's a sopressata. I think that's what it was called, something like that.
It was really good.
But I sliced all those the whole stick sausages up myself to where I can get them thicker as thin as I want them. I bought some other prosciutto, usually mortadella, just whatever kind of cured meat you want, really.
Yeah. And
I'll just start putting it on the board. So I'll put, piles of sausage down the middle. I'll come back with different types of olives. I like the calmatas. Man, those pepperoni peppers. What's the bright green olives that I like called? I think they're
I don't know.
I'd have to look those up, but it's
Let me Google it.
It's like a not too briny olive. It's really bright green,
buttery almost.
Yeah, it doesn't have. I usually buy the ones pitted, so you don't have to deal with the seeds.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes if I'll buy the assorted olives, they'll have some with pits, whole olives with pits in them and stuff.
Tell me if you can pronounce this.
Castella. It's some Italian olive. I don't know, but they're really good. Go ahead.
Trano?
Yeah. I don't know. You'll have to type that one out, but they're good olives. I found them at Costco, but you can find them at Kroger too in a smaller jar.
Yeah, they're also referred to as the sweet olives.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yes.
And I usually I took some little marinated at Kroger in the little deli section. They have marinated vegetables and olives and all cheese and all things like that. That's usually where I go shop.
Yeah.
So I'll get some little cups of these little peppers, and I got some Boursin cheese. It was like garlic and herb, and stuff those little peppers with it and put those on the board. I bought
You bought
the
some
blue cheese.
Yeah.
I like blue cheese, so I had 2 different blue cheeses. I had some type of gorgonzola, I think it was.
Some type of cheddar.
Some type of cheddar. I don't know my cheeses. I just buy the ones that look good to me when I go to the cheese.
I want to try this one today. That's it.
Cheese shop at Kroger. They've got all different kinds of stuff and all different prices. I'll just get something, don't break the bank. Because usually you can find something marked down that are still good.
Oh, yeah. And they sell them in little pieces, little humps.
Yeah, little squares, which is perfect for a meat board.
Yes.
They're already wedged.
They're under $5 each.
Yeah, I don't think I paid $5. Most of them are like $3.49.
Yeah.
And I just like setting those around the corner of the board, put a little knife there, and you can cut you off a piece of cheese.
What do you think you spent on?
Meat.
What do you think you spent on the meat board?
Probably $50.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I'd imagine.
I
think it's more than that.
80.
I think I spent. I don't know. If you go to Aldi, you can get a lot of that sausages and stuff and do it on the real cheap.
Yeah,
I've done that before.
And you can do a lot smaller one too, but we wanted to.
Yeah, I wanted a big one.
So what else did you serve?
You made me a jalapeno. I guess it's instead of a cheese ball, we call it a football.
Yeah.
It was what was it? Cream cheese, sharp cheddar, bacon, green onion, a ranch packet, and am I forgetting anything else?
Jalapenos.
And
I do
pickled
and
fresh.
You
put all that.
Those fresh jalapenos really, really small.
And you put it all in like the big stand mixture.
Yeah.
Whipped it all up.
The cream cheese
aerated a little and smooth. But I like the way it mixed it up. The consistency was good. Then you dumped it out like on saran wrap in like a bowl. It was a football shaped tray, but it really wasn't a football shaped tray.
Yeah, it just happened to have that shape.
And you wrapped it up and stuck it back in the fridge and let it harden. And then when you unwrapped it and flipped it out on the thing, it looked like a football.
Well, it looked like a blob of delicious cream cheese.
You made it look like the football?
Yeah.
Did you put extra bacon on the outside, crumbled
bacon, and you cut me some laces.
Yeah, out of mozzarella.
Cheese.
Yeah, bought like a block of mozzarella, and I just kind of trimmed out some laces.
It was good.
It was really good.
I've
surrounded
taken
it by
to
crackers.
Super Bowl parties and stuff like that. Yeah. It's really good.
That dip goes over well for a football party.
And it's not spicy.
You can make it.
But
you don't have to do it in the shape of a football. If you just wanted a cheese ball, it'd be really good.
Yeah. But I like using it for football because it's a little spicy and, it's not something you'd serve at Christmas to grandma.
Yeah. It's more of a guy's dip.
Yeah. And then we had Rotel.
Rotel, which was, Rotel cheese dip. I don't know if in the South, that's like you grow up eating Rotel cheese dip. But usually it's just block of Velveeta, can of Rotel, melted in either a crock pot or the microwave. But we kick it up. We added a pound of spicy sausage, breakfast sausage, browned up, whole block of cream cheese, then the 2 pounds of Velveeta cubed up, can of Rotel tomatoes, 2 cans of Rotel tomatoes. Would you season it a little bit?
A little gringo.
Yeah, a little gringo, the hot sauce or something.
That's it.
Went in the crock pot early that morning. You put that on. You took that over to the draft, which is only about 10 minutes away from where we live. It's not
It's our
far.
new place.
Yeah.
That's where we did it.
And plugged it up at 9 o'clock, and by the time we got ready that afternoon, it was hot and bubbly and ready to go on low all day.
So how good were those ribs?
The ribs were fantastic, man. I don't even know if there was any bones left.
I
thought, I cooked 4 racks, and I was like, with all this other food, there's no way we're going to eat all these ribs if everybody got a bone or two. But man, they was just wiped out, and I ate 2 or 3 bones myself because they were money. It was like Smithfield rib too. I bought the whole spare rib. Broke them down myself into St. Louis, pulled the membranes off, all that. Didn't have to do a whole lot of trimming. They were just beautiful ribs. Got them at Walmart of all places. And then seasoned them up with just a little light mustard, AP, the barbecue rub on the Outlaw 275. I really think cooking them on the stick burner is what made them so good.
We had this conversation about the last few slabs of ribs we've had that come off of a stick burner were just it was
texture. It's a texture thing. It don't do anything to
warm
flavor.
Butter on a bone.
It just, I don't know if it's the airflow on it, the heat, the way it rolls through one. I can cook a good rib on a pellet grill or on my old hickory, but man, those stick burner ribs, they are just, the past few times I've just been blown away by them.
The ones we cooked at Memphis in May.
I would have never thought that they'd have been that much better, but man, they're good.
Yeah. We did the video for Memphis in May that Friday. And we actually cooked ribs that we turned in on Saturday.
Yeah.
But the video ribs that we shot were so good because we cooked them on that
Jolene.
That Jolene, yeah.
That Jolene.
That Jolene.
You know her name. Say her name.
You better put some respect on that name.
Yeah, and then the contest ribs, we kept Jolene clean.
Yeah,
So for showing, and we cooked all the ribs on the old hickory, and they were
And
flat.
we thought they might have had a rib problem too.
Yeah, but hey,
Too many freezes and
I know now.
balls.
I guarantee you next year I'm cooking on a stick burner.
Fresh ribs on a stick burner.
Fresh ribs on a stick burner. If I had to trim we'll cook baby back, so I won't have to trim them.
So where'd you got them at Walmart?
Got them, everything I bought is either Walmart, Kroger. I didn't get anything super. Actually, the tri-tips, I ordered those. So.
Well, I got more questions about the rib.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just telling you where I got the tri-tips.
So once they got, how long did you keep them on there before you wrapped them?
They went about 2 hours and 15, 20 minutes before we wrapped. I was just going by straight color.
Yeah.
Then they wrapped for hour 15.
Yeah.
That was it. I mean, so
Quick
it's 2:15, hour 15, went in the cooler. Right before, then we did the pork tenderloins and tri-tips, and then I put
How
the
long
ribs
did you
back
let
on.
let the ribs
2
rest?
hours. They rested 2 hours in the little party stacker.
And then right before we left, you unwrapped them.
Unwrapped them, mixed some sauce up, just 50-50, vinegar sauce, the barbecue sauce, zapped it in the microwave to knock the chill off, brushed the back, unwrapped the ribs. And
sauce, not the ribs.
Yeah. What?
Go ahead.
Oh, in the microwave?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Knock the chill off the sauce, not the ribs. The ribs are hot as heck.
Yeah.
But so they're in the coolers. You take them out, drain the juice off. I put them on a sheet pan, flipped them upside down, hit the backside with the sauce, flipped them back over. A little more light barbecue rub just to slick them over, make the color pop right back out.
Yep. 5
minutes back on the outlaw, brush them with the sauce, about 10-15 minutes to set that sauce, and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
I wrapped them back up again in brand new foil, put them back in the party stacker, took them to the draft, cut them up.
So let's.
So they got good rest.
Yes.
They rested 2 hours.
That was another issue too.
They rested 2 hours, off the pit the first time, and then they probably rested another at least 30 minutes before we got to cutting them up. By the time we drive over there, cut the other stuff up, we cut the ribs very last.
Yeah.
That was the last thing we did was cut the ribs.
So when
They may have rested a little bit longer than that, maybe 45.
When you pull the ribs off the smoker, out of the wrap, and you put them in that cooler, how long could you have kept them in that cooler?
I wouldn't. 2 hours is where I want them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be scared to go 4, but anything over than that, they're probably gonna be over to you. You're gonna lose them because ribs don't like to hold a long time, but 2 hours is really, really good. It's about right.
Yeah.
I'm not scared to hold them 2 hours and them still be perfect or even better.
Yeah. And they don't really cool off any during that.
No,
process.
they're still screaming hot.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still screaming hot.
So, do you think?
You'd have to wear gloves to handle them.
Yeah, when you pull them back out
Yeah,
after the 2 hours.
definitely.
Yeah. And how long do you think you could have held them after you glazed them to take them somewhere?
Hour.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't want to go much over an hour after I glazed them like that.
because you've already rested them.
Yeah.
And then heated them back up and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. I just think that'd be about right. If you wanted them dry, you wouldn't even have to put them back on. You could have just dry seasoned them when once you got to where you are. Yeah.
Dry seasoned them and sliced them.
Yep, you could. Yep, straight out the box, and they'd be just Memphis style dry ribs,
Mm-hmm.
and be really fantastic.
I love Memphis style dry ribs.
If I was going to do just ribs and not have all this other protein, I would have done ribs 2 ways.
Yeah.
That'd have been
Really going out with the ribs.
Yeah.
Knocked it out. That little party stacker is absolutely perfect for ribs because of the size it is.
It's anything small like that. It's great at holding. Of course, it's not going to hold a big brisket, but for ribs, you could probably put one brisket in
You could
there.
put one brisket in there, and I bet it would hold it perfect.
A butt, I think it might be
Almost
too
too
tall.
tall, yeah.
That's what I'd be worried about, being too tall. Now, if it was,
But ribs, it's just the
this
right.
part, you can get 6 slabs in it, 3 and 3, and that's what we use it at contest. I mean, I learned that from Heath. Heath was using those things. I was always putting them in Cambros, and it seemed my Cambros was over holding it too well.
Yeah.
Those things, they're just cheap coolers, so they don't hold. They don't trap in as much heat as say a Cambro does. or a Yeti or some, cooler that's designed really to hold in stuff.
Yeah, but
these
in this application, that's what
works perfect.
Yeah.
You don't want to trap too much heat. You just want to keep it kind of warm.
Yeah.
And that's why I like them. I've even used the Island Breeze ones for butts and stuff too. They work good. And it's just a cheap $16 cooler at Walmart.
We have all these expensive, nice colors, and the ones.
And then we use the cheap ones, yeah. But they make great. They make great holding boxes.
Where'd you get those tri-tips?
One of them was Wagyu from Kevin that was in the freezer, and others were Creekstone. I cooked 4.
Yeah. The one that was Wagyu from Kevin, did we
I don't know.
you just cooked them all the same?
Cooked them all the same. You couldn't.
When you say
probably could tell when it's sliced, but by the time we got to all that, it was.
Yeah.
I lost track of which one was which.
Yeah.
Creekstone Primes are fine tri-tips.
Yeah.
I mean, they were both fantastic.
I love tri-tips because they got a real beefy.
Yeah, it's one of. I don't know why it's not a real known cut around here. In California, it's a big thing, but they're cheap out there too.
Yeah.
Here, I think I paid $100 for 3 tri-tips from Creekstone. But it was good eating. It was real good eating. What do you like, the chimichurri or the horseradish cream sauce with it?
I love them both. Those are some of my favorite sauces to serve with beef. So it kind of depends on what mood I'm in.
Yeah. To
me, I was looking for something fresh. We've been cooking all day, and
that's why the chimichurri.
Was.
That's why I think
really
I made
good.
it the day before.
Yeah, and let it set.
And let it set up, and it was really good. The tri-tip, all I did to them, we did a quick trim, took the silver skin off, hit it with Swine Life grind, and then TX, and that was it.
Yep, that was it.
Reverse seared. So when the ribs went in the whole box the first time, the tri-tip went on along with the pork tenderloin. Took about 30 minutes is all. The pork tenderloin hit temp in 30 minutes, like 130, and the tri-tip was like 115. So it was perfect. I did have the tenderloins a little closer to the firebox.
Yeah.
That's why they jumped up there so fast.
To keep them cooking even.
Yeah, but once they were done, by the time I got them on, closed the Outlaw down, started me a chimney in the Weber grill, got it hot, everything was ready to come off and go sear. So that was the way to do it.
Well,
so if you're going to do a reverse sear on something.
What if you don't have 2 grills? You just 2-zone it?
Yeah. Like if you got a Weber, just a Weber. I mean, I guess if you didn't have a way to sear it, you wouldn't sear it. But if you got a grill, you can definitely set it up for 2-zone, like on my Weber. I could cook the tri-tip or the pork tenderloin off to the cool side until it come up to temperature, and then move it over the hot coals and sear it. That's the exact way to do it.
And if you're cooking on, let's say, a pellet grill, you're just not going to get that sear.
Yeah, I mean, you can run some of them up at the end, like take it off. You can do it on an egg. You start them out low and slow. Take the meat off the grill, fire the grill. Fire your grill up high, and then sear it. I mean, I've used grill grates on a pellet grill, and you can get some sear marks on it. It's not ideal. I mean, to me, you're better just having your little cheap. I don't care if it's one of those little Aussie walkabouts. Anything that you can sear on.
Yeah,
I've cooked many a chicken contests on one of them little Aussie folding grills.
Yeah.
It worked. Flat work. That's a $20 grill.
When you cook a beef loin, you let it sit in the cooler for an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah,
and it seems to help it level out as far as the temperature inside. And do you do that with tri-tips too?
Yeah, definitely want to rest them too. I didn't because we waited to the end to do the tri-tips. I wrapped them back up in foil as soon as they come off the Weber seared, and then stuck them in another party stacker, and we took them to the draft. So they probably rested 15, 20 minutes. I mean, it wouldn't have hurt them to go an hour, 2 hours. Because the tri-tips, it's a dense piece of meat too, so it can take a rest.
Definitely.
I wouldn't have been scared to hold the pork tenderloin 2 hours either in there. It'd have been perfect.
For 2 hours?
Yeah, because I had so much mass in there. You have four pork tenderloins and 4 tri-tips in the same party stacker. That's a little cooler. It's going to hold that temp up for probably, if I had to guess, put a probe in it 4 hours or longer.
Yeah.
I've never done it, but, I mean, there's never really a case to hold it that long. But 2, I wouldn't be scared at all.
That's another thing with those little party stackers is you've decreased the amount of space You know,
Yeah,
because
it's not a big
shorter.
void, so you don't have to worry about putting towels in there or whatever, or having too much airspace. That's one reason why I really like them. I mean, they're designed to hold one can of beer standing straight up.
Yeah, so that's the
So
height.
that's the depth. I mean, what is that? Maybe 6 inches or so at the
Yeah.
most.
And they stack. So if
And
you
they
need
stack on top.
multiples
Yeah, I mean, you can get 4. That's what I have 4 of them,
in the
and that's what we put ribs in. We go to Memphis and May. They work great, but at contest I always take 1 or 2, even though I have a Cambro. Because I'll put my big meats, the brisket and the butts in a Cambro, but I'll throw the ribs in the party stacker. Just works out.
And you can kick them underneath the couch.
And they make great things to take your dirty dishes and stuff home in. I get all kinds of use out of a party stacker. I need to come out with my own version of How to Barbecue Right Party Stacker.
So,
Folded rib box.
what's the key? What advice would you give someone that's fixing to do because essentially what we did is a small catering job.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. It's just for a smaller group. I mean, I don't know. I had enough food probably to feed 30.
Oh, yeah.
You could think that would have been a 30 were easy.
Maybe not the ribs because
Maybe not ribs. I mean,
I think everybody doubled down on the ribs and didn't eat as much as everything else.
Planning is really so. Once I decided out what the menu is going to be, and I kind of sit down with you and talk about that over what you thought if that sounded good.
It might have been my idea to use the Big Mon.
Yeah, it might have been your idea. The next step is figuring out what it's going to take to make all that. So I always start a list. Like I'll write my menu out, and then I'll write each piece of it out as a shopping list, what I'm going to need.
Well, what I do first is we write jerk tenderloin sliders. We're going to need,
each component,
all the elements, and then we break it down into a recipe list. Go even further.
That's exactly how you do it.
Yeah.
And then you got a shopping list, and then all you got to do is take the time to go do that. Usually it takes multiple stores.
Yep.
It's very rarely I can get it all at the same store. But once I gathered all that, and I did that one day before or 2 days before?
No.
Might have been Thursday I started gathering like that. I like to give myself plenty of time. And that way the night before.
We had football practice Thursday night, so I think it was Friday morning.
It might have been Friday morning.
Yeah.
But so I did as much as I could the night before. So we made the chimichurri. We did all the chopping, all the prepping. You cooked the bacon for the cheese ball. I think you made the cheese ball the night before.
Yeah, because it needs to set up. If you can do it the night before, do it. We made the calypso sauce, put it in the squeeze bottle.
The jerk sauce. Yeah,
the jerk sauce was in the squeeze bottle. We had it ready to go. We did all our chopping for the salsa.
Everything.
Yeah.
It was everything we could do the night before we did. And then that way when I got up Saturday morning, all I really had to do was cook the meat.
Yeah.
So
you could focus on getting things
right. You actually fired the smoker up for me that morning. I jumped in the shower.
Heck yeah,
By the time I come out, I was like, I go outside and get the cooker going. He's like, I already got it. I was like, damn, I was pretty impressed, baby.
I kind of wanted to see.
It was nothing to it, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was easy. Well, I saw you do it couple weeks before for the gator, and I was like, I can do that.
You could put some charcoal in there and put a tumbleweed in there and light it.
Yeah. I might not be good at monitoring the temperature through a long cook, but.
Yeah. But that was it. We got the ribs going. Mark came over. We wrapped the ribs, got them done and holding. Went ahead and had the tri-tips and pork tenderloin on deck, cooked those, got them seared and holding, and everything else was drive over and start putting it together.
Yeah.
So we had the game plan going the whole time. All it took was the cook time.
And one thing I did do on Thursday, because we had this dedicated space, I was able to do it. We went ahead and set up the tables and the chairs and put the tablecloths on and went ahead and put kind of the, the main serving platters on the table.
Boards and all that stuff.
Because if you don't take the time to prep, I think that's what most people run into when they throw a party or do something like that. They try to do everything like the day of, and it's overwhelming.
Yeah, oh yeah, I could see that.
If you can do it the day before or 2 or 3 days before.
At least have it all together where you know how it's going to go out. Because once we got to the draft, all we had to do was cut the meat, assemble the sandwiches, build the charcuterie board, and then put everything out in its place. Yeah. We had crackers and chips and little desserts and
we just
all
bought
that
the desserts.
Stuff. Yeah, I did cooking desserts. Yeah. But the tangy Carolina meatballs.
Oh yeah,
I'm telling you.
So tell me how difficult this is in the process. I think we've talked about this on here.
We probably have. People go crazy over these things, and all you do is buy the big bag of meatballs froze.
It's always Italian too.
Italian meatballs. They're like in the appetizer section at the grocery store.
I think it's Armour's the brand. I'm not sure the brand, but it's like a red, white, and green.
Yeah.
It's like an Italian flag.
Yeah, there's 124 meatballs in there, and it's a crock pot full of meatballs. You plug your crock pot in, you put it on low, you dump those meatballs in there, and you take a bottle. I've got the gallon jug of tangy Carolina Gold sauce from Cattleman's. And I just poured about half that in there, so it's probably 64 ounces of sauce. And you don't want to smother them, but you want the meatballs coated in it.
You want them to just simmer in it.
Yeah, and you put it on low and you let it sit there. I mean, it's the
Hours.
easiest thing. Then when you take it, you have a big shot glass full of toothpicks beside it, and people just go crazy over these meatballs that they think you've made and made this sauce for. Like, no,
One thing that you talked about doing, which I think is a good idea, is you were thinking about putting the meatballs on a smoker and letting them like come up to get warm on a smoker because they're smoked element.
I guess they're pre-cooked.
They are.
And they're kind of browned up and stuff like they've been.
I mean, I think once you thought you could eat it right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I bet you need to bring them up to at least 140.
You wouldn't risk it.
I wouldn't risk it. You do you. I'm not just eating no room temperature meatball out of the freezer. I'm at least going to put it in the crock pot and bring it. I checked the internal temperature. I want it to be at least 140, but 165 wouldn't scare you. You can't ruin these things.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I guess if you put them on high and you left the lid on it and let it go for 2 days, it'd probably scorch.
Yeah, they'd mush.
Yeah, but.
And you got to give yourself some time because you can't. It's going to take a couple hours in a crock pot to get it up to temp and getting it bubbly.
Yeah, put them on low. First thing in the morning, you're having a party that afternoon, they'll be ready.
Yeah.
Just like your no-tail rotel. It's the same way. Well, you did for the rotel. You had all that ready to go. All you had to do is dump it in the crock.
I had my sausage cooked and drained. I had, everything
cream cheese cubed up, the Velveeta cubed up.
Yep.
Cans.
I had it in a Ziploc bag.
Just dumped it in the crock pot and rolled.
Then added my 2 cans.
Same thing with the meatballs. If you can't do that for a party, you got problems. You can't make rotel or you can't make
do you think
mustard meatballs, I guess, whatever you want to call them.
Do you think the mustard meatballs would be better if you actually took the time and made them?
No. There's no, like you made the meatballs and then come up with your own mustard sauce. Yeah. I would.
You'd put these up against
I'd put these up against them any day. I really would. Armour's got it figured out. And the tangy Carolina Gold. It makes a dang good wing sauce. You mix you mix that tangy Carolina Gold with hot sauce and then add a little extra honey. That's what Memphis hot honey gold is. All these wing joints. That's they got top secret hot honey gold. No, it's Cattleman's. And they used to call it Cattleman's Honey Gold. Now it's called like Tangy Carolina or Carolina Gold. I forget. They changed the name of it every
harder
year.
To find.
Yeah.
We get it because of Memphis and May. Cattleman's.
Lit carries it. It's a restaurant supply store in Memphis because all those wing joints buy it from them.
Yeah.
You can find it in super low. I don't think Kroger carries Cattleman's.
Kroger quit carrying it. I think
they don't even have any Cattleman's. So you got to find a store that sells Cattleman sauces.
And as far as like cheap store-bought sauces go, Cattleman's is one of my favorites.
Yeah, the sweets, they've got different ones that are pretty good.
I use them in beans. Yeah.
For big cooking jobs.
I mean, I don't want to make a pulled pork sandwich with it,
but cooking with it?
Yeah, cooking with it, it's a great option. So, I'm ready to talk about the new place.
The new place.
I kept telling you, we're not going to talk about it yet. We're not going to talk about it yet.
We're here.
We're
working on the retail side now. We're in the process of Shell's putting her touch on it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the
nice.
decorating.
It's going to be
thing.
Well decorated.
Yeah. We've run into a few obstacles. We're having to redo the bathroom so it's ADA accessible. We're having to do some fire protection stuff. What else are we having to do?
We're having to deal with the city.
And they're not easy to deal with.
Turns out.
But, we're working our angles and doing what they tell us to do and jumping through hoops. And we hope to be fully open
November
by Halloween.
1st.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
That's our goal. That's our target. We've got almost 2 months because here it is September 3rd, I guess.
Yep.
So we've got to hammer down.
Yep. We're working it. And so we also have a class space in this new place.
We do.
And if you watch the fantasy football video, you can kind of get a glimpse at it.
That's the conference area. Yeah. There's enough room
It's
in
not
there.
a huge space, but
Yeah, it'll work for barbecue classes or
Yeah.
demos or stuff like that. We're excited about that.
we've got some really comfortable chairs and tables, and it'll be nice.
Got a little kitchen area.
Yeah.
What else are we going to have? We got this podcast room that we're going to work on.
And we're hopefully setting up a place to do some filming, so we're not in the weather.
Yeah, as much. Because the lighting in the conference room is really good. It's got these skylights, so you really never have to turn the lights on, I guess, unless it's dark outside.
Yeah.
During the daytime, it is perfect lighting there because you can tell in that video, that was, mid-afternoon, and there weren't any lights on when you were filming while, showing the food table or me behind it, just that little clip or whatever.
Yeah. It's
That's just natural light in there.
When we were if you watch the video, the spots where we were slicing, it was off in the kitchen, off in the corner.
Yeah. It was a little darker there.
Yeah.
I should have sliced in the big room.
Yeah, I wish I would have.
Now we know. We didn't know. We hadn't had a camera in there yet.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what the lighting was going to be like.
And we were under a deadline. And
I'm anxious to see what it's going to look like. We're going to put some wood up on a wall there, the TV wall, if you can see where that TV was, a quick shot in that video. But we'll probably end up doing some kind of walkthrough video showing this place.
that'd be
I don't
cool
know how
once we get it set up.
Yeah, once we get it like we want it. I've got my own office. I had my office door frosted yesterday, so it's private. Can't just see in there. Somebody's coming to the retail shop. Can't just see in my office.
For Malcolm's birthday.
Wants me drinking whiskey or whatever I'm doing in there.
For Malcolm's birthday, I kind of decorated his office for him. It was a little late. I'm still working on it, but it's really nice.
It is. Looks really good. I like it. Got my own little personal bar cart. Got a mini fridge with a mini freezer on top of it.
I got you set up.
Set up. It's got a couch, TV. What are you trying to tell me? I can stay
Okay.
there. If you kick me out, I can go stay at the office, I guess.
Yeah.
Got a couch to sleep on.
Our old office was a little.
Yeah, it was a shanty. It worked for what it was, but we needed some warehouse space. We needed, we needed some class space. We needed a better podcast space, and we needed, we need some retail.
We wanted our own class space for sure.
Yeah.
We wanted to do a little retail for a while, and
I'm excited about it. I think it's
too.
going to be really nice here when we get it all going, and I think people are going to enjoy coming out and seeing what we do.
yeah. So plan to
So y'all plan trips?
make a pilgrimage
Yeah,
this fall.
to the BBQRight mothership or whatever we want to call it.
Mothership. You still haven't made a
Yeah, I
up
still
your
have an
mind.
official name for it. Something.
So let's talk about our fajita dinner night real quick, or do you want to talk about sirloins? Because sirloins were on sale.
They were, and did we not talk about that last time? Man, sirloins. Who was I telling that to?
Well, I know we didn't talk about our fajita dinner night.
Yeah,
You were telling Mark about it.
that's what I bought the sirloins for the fajita dinner.
Yeah, but
'Cause
then
they
you
were-
went back and bought more.
Then I went back and bought more, and that's what I've been, ate on them for a week.
Yeah.
They were on sale for, I want to say $7.99 a pound. It was. I got two giant sirloins, and it was under $20, and they had to be almost 2 pounds worth of meat. I mean, it was a huge. It was a huge.
It looked like a
steaks.
roast.
So all I did was tenderize them with the little jacquard.
Well, see, this is my question. It looks like a roast. It's a big, dense, not very marbled piece of meat.
Yeah, it is lean. Sirloin's a lean meat. I mean, it's
How
red
did you
meat,
get it so
lean meat.
tender?
Jacquarded it a little bit and seasoned it and let that seasoning set on it for about an
What'd
hour.
you season it with? Just kind of a salt.
I
like an
just used AP.
Yeah.
AP, a little hot rub for some color, a little TX for texture, and let it sit on it for about an hour and sweat. After, I jacquarded it really good. And then I just seared it hot and fast. It took 8 minutes.
Total?
Those big steaks, I did 2 minutes. I did my normal steak
Like you
cook
would
on
for
them.
ribeye.
Didn't even worry about temping it. But when I took it off, I felt it. I was like, oh, I know this is medium rare. It was perfect.
It was
perfect. So
All that you did was.
yeah. But, and if you don't cook, I mean, most people, I guess, don't like sirloin or
Well,
it don't have a lot of fat in it, but
I
if you don't
wouldn't have picked up
overcook
on
it,
it.
the problem I think people have with sirloins is they overcook them. It's like a flat iron or any other lesser cut of meat or beef, you've got to cook it under medium. If you go over medium, if you like your steak medium or medium well, or heaven forbid, well done,
Get a fillet.
don't get something that's lean, because it's not gonna have any flavor. It's gonna turn into leather on you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just eating no dry beef at that point. You might as well be eating jerky. you've cooked all the moisture out of it. But if you keep it really juicy on the inside, and you do that by cooking it rare or mid-rare, it's good. It's good eating. And then sirloin's the same. It falls right into that category. And the same way a tri-tip. I mean, you overcook a tri-tip, it ain't worth eating either. But you get a good medium rare tri-tip, oh, it's delicious. Sirloin, I mean, that's the tri-tip's part of the sirloin. It's just a little tail tip of
Really?
it. Yeah.
Did not know that.
It sure is. That's where it comes from. So you got the
it's kind of
cognate's the cap of the sirloin. What we're eating is kind of like the center cut, and the tri-tip's the bottom part. It's all sirloin. So it's just lean meat.
More you know.
More you know. Huh? Stick around me, you'll learn stuff.
You're a very knowledgeable man. But for cooking a fajita night or something like that for a big group, a sirloin would feed a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. It was really, and that's what I did with it.
That's what it's perfect
Cooked
for.
it rare, cut it thin like strips, just like you get at a Mexican restaurant if you was ordering fajitas. And then whatever board juice was there, I just kind of took those pieces, moved it all back around in the board juice, hit it with a little extra grande gringo, and it made some of the best beef fajita meat you could have. And all I did was season that with grande gringo. I didn't do anything else to the beef, no marinade, no nothing. It was just heavily seasoned with gringo and grilled the same way, and then cut it in little strips
for the fajitas.
For the beef fajitas.
Yeah.
And I also did. Now these were jam up. It was boneless chicken fajitas basically. We had found a marinade that we had in. It was called
cilantro lime marinade. It was a Kroger brand.
Simply,
I just saw it. Yeah.
Just simply, it was like their healthy marinade or whatever. What is it called? The line that's Simply Green or something like that.
It, yeah.
I bought another bottle the other day, but instead of using chicken breast, I bought boneless, skinless thighs. They were froze. I dumped them out into a Ziploc bag, dumped that bottle of the marinade off in there, and just let them hang out in the refrigerator all day. They went in that morning. I wasn't going to grill them till that night. Took them out of the marinade, dripped the excess off, and I just had my Weber grill going. It was, it was set up for.
You cooked the steak on it.
I was cooking the sirloin on it, but when I got the chicken out of the marinade, lightly seasoned it with gringo, threw it over on the pellet grill just for 20 minutes. Well, it might have been, about 20 minutes. By the time the grill got going, I seared the steaks. The chicken had came up, and I temped it. I did temp it because I was just curious what it was after 20 minutes. They were like 130, 135 on the pellet grill. And then I took them and seared them right there after I finished the grill. So I'd cooked the beef on it. And I think what really happened is I had that grate really good in season because I had the grande gringo on the sirloin, and it leaves some of that remnants, and you put the chicken over there on it, and it picks up some of that grill flavor. Because have you ever noticed that when you cook something on a grill that whatever you cook first, it can kind of transfer over?
Yeah.
Well, it really does it with the chicken thighs.
And they were wet.
And and so no glaze or anything, just grilled them until they were
Did you even season them once you pulled them out of the marinade?
Yeah, just a little light grande gringo, real light, not heavy, because I knew they had a ton of flavor from the marinade. And then once they got temp, I pulled them at 170, let them carry over, took them inside. Sliced them up on the same board that I did the sirloin. There was juice all over the board. Took that meat, worked it back in, hit it with a little more gringo, chicken fajitas. And then that chicken fajita meat, sometimes you get chicken fajitas and they kind of dry out. People want to use breast. Try the boneless, skinless thighs. It will change your fajita game on chicken. It's so easy. There's no trimming to them. They're already cut up, good little pieces for you. Start them out on a grill if you want to low side first. Bring them up to 130. Sear them off to get some crust and some char on the other side after you do your beef. That's a little tip. And then waller them around in the board juice. And, man, they make some of the best fajitas.
And it's really, really easy.
We didn't really – I guess you call that fajita style, but we didn't serve them as fajitas because I didn't grill, onions and peppers and all that. No. We just served them – it was mainly like tacos.
Kind of.
This is like grilled chicken tacos or grilled steak tacos. That's what I call them because we had – cilantro pico and guac.
Yeah. I made some homemade guacamole and we served them with I made a spicy cream sauce.
That stuff was you could bottle that.
It was good. It was you know what I did?
Mayo.
I took
I knew mayo was in it.
It was mayo, sour cream, equal parts, and then I took it was a street taco seasoning mix. So it had to be some type of taco mix, seasoning.
You get it Kroger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Dumped it into mayonnaise and sour cream mixture, added a little lime juice, and added a little Mexican hot sauce. And that was it. And it was really, really good. Yeah. Valentino, yeah. And then...
it was good. That stuff stayed around all week.
Yeah. I
think your mom even took some of that home.
She did. Poncho's green dressing.
Oh, yeah. That's my jam. Poncho's Tropical. Green dressing.
If you're not using Poncho's green dressing in your taco nights, you're missing out.
Something's wrong.
And they make really...
I don't know if they have that worldwide.
Yeah, probably
It's a southern thing.
They'll make really good taco salads, too. Your dressing for taco salad.
That's what I didn't really make taco. I didn't use the taco shells. I just kind of...
Made you a fajita salad?
So you did some black beans, and I did some cilantro lime rice. And so I put some rice down, put some beans down, put me some steak and some chicken, topped it all off with the different sauces and pico. I just made a burrito, grilled steak and grilled chicken bowl.
Yeah.
That's how I eat it.
Yeah, fajita bowl.
Trying to eat a little bit lighter. You can believe it.
Labor Day is coming up this weekend.
It is. Everybody's going to be firing up those grills.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about Labor Day.
Yeah. I would do ribs tri-tip and little pork sliders if you want something delicious. They're all easy to do.
Or the Big Mom Burger.
The Big Mom Burger would be a good one.
Chicken wings.
You can't go wrong with chicken wings.
But everybody's cooking ribs, probably.
Yeah, I would say ribs is number one thing.
Yeah.
Ribs or steak. If you're at Labor Day, you're probably cooking ribs or steak.
What do you mean steak? Like ribeyes?
Yeah.
Oh, ribeyes.
I think that's a good
really
one.
good.
Working man, he's off work. He wants to cook steak.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
That just sounds really good. I hadn't had a ribeye in a very long time.
Since we went to a steak contest and you won third place.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I can bring that up, don't I?
Yeah, but you're not eating a steak there.
Yeah.
You might be tasting a steak, but...
That's right. I hadn't cooked you a ribeye in a while. I'm not going to. I'm going to let you cook them from now on. Since you're the steak queen or what.
You have been letting me cook them.
That's how you got the good one.
That's how I got good at it. But yeah, if you're looking for a Labor Day recipe, go to the website.
That's it. I highly recommend the little take the Big Mom Burger, transfer it into sliders with pork tenderloin.
That would feed a lot of people if you like it spicy.
I want to do a Big Mon where I do a pork steak, like jerk-fried pork steak.
Yeah.
On a huge bun. You know how pork steaks are big.
Yes.
Piled up, and you cut it like a muffaletta. You know how you can cut it into wedges or whatever. And you've got this huge pork steak. I bet it'd be so good.
I like the little sliders. You also did your spicy Mississippi chicken recipe. That would be...
Yeah, that'd be a good Labor Day. That'd be a easy Labor Day one, too.
Oh, when you're sweet and sticky.
You hadn't tried that seasoning yet? We talked about that on the last podcast, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
That seasoning's worth trying.
That core seasoning?
Yeah.
You just did that char-grilled pork chop sandwich. That was good.
There's plenty of stuff to cook for Labor Day. I don't know what.
American is apple pie ribs.
That's 4th of July, baby.
That'd be good for Labor Day, though.
It would be. I might do some peach pie ribs or something. I kind of want to take that and try it with some different fruit.
You've been talking about it.
Because the apple turned out so good. There's peach butter out there, and there's different kinds of fruits or preserves that you could use. You could use apricots, but I think you could do some different takes on that one.
Well, that's all I have on my notes. What else do you have on your notes?
It's Friday. I'm ready to get out of here for the weekend. It's Labor Day. Going to get to watch some college football in some form. So
Fingers crossed.
It's been a good week, and we're gonna get to work Monday or Tuesday back on this place, getting it, keeping on improving it, and hopefully we're gonna get this podcast set up a little differently. It's gonna look really cool in here.
Yeah, hopefully that's the plan.
Yeah,
it might take us a few weeks to get it set up, but we're gonna keep going until we do.
That's right. So y'all let us know, and thanks for hanging out with us, Chell. Where can you find us?
If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Chell on Instagram. If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and, of course, YouTube.
That's all I got. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see y'all next time. We gone.